Fighting out the blue corner, representing Thailand, with a professional boxing record of 2 victories and 1 loss with no bouts even. Please give it up for Naruebet Manasak Jim. And his opponent fighting out the red corner, proudly representing the Philippines, with a professional boxing record of 2 victories, 1 loss, and no bouts even. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Renden Oppas. And your referee in charge of the action once it begins, Ajahn Waterwood Yuan Kao. And the 3 judges scoring ringside, Ajahn Thanakorn Kantong, Ajahn Chris Sanyadet, and Mr. Carlos Costa.
Okay, folks, welcome back. So we rapidly move on to bout number 9. It is the Philippines taking on Thailand at the minimum weight division. It's about a schedule for 6 rounds of action. It's Renden Oppas from the Philippines with 3 fights on his professional record, 2 victories, 1 defeat, no draws. Taking on Naruebet Manasak Jim, who's got an identical record, 3 fights on his record, 2 victories, 1 defeat, and no draws. So I really like the lightweight fighters, Jimmy, because they're just absolute pocket rockets. You see lots of high volume shots, real good strategies, and just very good entertaining back and forth fights between the lighter fighters at this kind, especially at this kind of weight.
Yeah, minimum weight as well is one of those things that has been dominated by the Asian fighters, you know, throughout time, pretty much. You know, the Asian fighters and the South Americans tend to dominate the lighter weight divisions, and it's all about that speed and it's all about that fitness level as well, which is high output constantly throughout the fight. It's just there's no stopping here, and it's just constantly going. But you know, he's up against a very powerful fighter. Oppas is a very good fighter from the Philippines, taking on, of course, Naruebet. Oppas doing a good job now to keep Naruebet against the ropes, and Oppas just doesn't want to clinch, and this is what we were talking about, Ali. They just want to keep going forward.
Uppercut there from Oppas. Yeah, I mean, that's what makes these fights so entertaining. You just see these two are really agile, especially Oppas, who's shuffling in and out of the pocket, dipping down from Oppas, but right uppercut there from Naruebet.
Yeah, very interesting as well from Oppas to have a style like that, almost like a peekaboo style as well, which is something you don't really see at the minimum weight, but we know with their fitness level, they can just keep moving their head and they're not going to get tired here. So the first round tends to be very much like this. They tend to smother each other. They tend to get tangled up. But after that first round, they start getting their timing down. They start getting their power shots, and their accuracy is there. But a beautiful overhand right by Oppas.
Yeah, speaking of accuracy, you saw the right hand on the left hook to the body there from Oppas. An interesting maneuverability right there in the clinch from Oppas. Almost looked like he was doing a bit of Muay Thai right there.
Yeah, I was going to comment a very similar thing, because Oppas, to me, doesn't want to clinch. He just wants to go to the body. Instead of clinching, he just wants to keep firing. But this is some absolute beautiful footwork by Oppas, some beautiful hand placement as well. And I think Naruebet's got to realize that this first round is going to be very much like this. Survive the first round and get yourself into that second and start teeing off. But Oppas just going to town right now.
Yeah, Oppas just... I don't think I've ever seen a fighter on this show move like that. I mean, Jimmy, you've been in boxing a lot longer than me. I'm sure you've seen that very, very often. But Oppas' footwork is definitely something to sort of take note of. Just how he just pivots on that front foot and just slips and dips, gets in and out of the pocket. See, there you go, right there, that little pivot.
Yeah, you often see this with, like, you know, the lighter weights like we've seen before. I mean, you know, he's moving very much like a very famous boxer known as Salvador Sanchez, which was just constantly moving left and right, finding the angles, but his head is always off the line. So look at Oppas, he's always moving his head, but he's always throwing whilst his head is moving. So to me, we've almost got a younger version of Salvador Sanchez. And for those of you familiar with Salvador Sanchez, he was a legend, a complete veteran, and you know, just one of the best boxers we've ever seen. And the way Oppas is moving right now is very reminiscent of that fighter as well. But let's see these action replays. Oppas, to me, going to the body instead of clinching is an absolute fantastic idea. And I mean, look, Oppas is in the corner right now, standing, not breathing heavily at all. He looks like he just could keep going and going, and I think that is just what we're witnessing right now with these very small weights, is the fitness level is completely different. Oppas isn't sitting down, he's not opening his mouth wide to breathe. He looks very calm and looks like he's just going to absolutely go forward towards Naruebet.
I mean, if you're in Naruebet's corner, what are you telling him to do? How is he getting back into this fight in the second round?
Well, you've got to try and weather a storm sometimes. You've got to accept that people can't usually keep this pace up, but if they can, you've got to take that gas tank away from him. You've got to really make this a dogfight, go to the body, and really, when you get in that clinch, hold the arms of your opponent and don't allow him to get out of it and really dictate the pace of the fight yourself. But Naruebet, to me, has got to get some respect. He's got to start throwing those uppercuts as soon as Oppas is moving, but just going to the body, invest into the body as much as you can.
See, this is the thing with a fight. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jimmy. A fighter that feints a lot like this on the front foot, like Oppas, you've really got to just use that jab to the body just to kind of keep them at bay. I mean, the thing is with the jab, you can also just pull it back. Whereas if you commit to it too much with the left hand or the straight right to the body and you miss, you know, you're leaving yourself open.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. The body isn't moving, but the head is. So if you're jabbing to the body, you're likely going to land anyways. And this is exactly what we needed to see from Naruebet, is gain the respect of Oppas. Because, look, Oppas is moving beautifully. His footwork is fantastic, but he hasn't got much power behind some of the shots that he's throwing to the body, but he's doing just enough to impress the judges. So we're in a situation where I think Naruebet has more power in his hands, but Oppas just has the better movement.
Oppas right there with the right hand and the left hook.
But Oppas will get to a point as well, Ali, where he's going to be landing all of these shots, and if Naruebet isn't going down, he's going to start losing his confidence as well. So, you know, we saw that combination just there. That is known as shoe shining in the boxing business.
Yeah, just throwing really low power uppercuts, but a huge left uppercut connects for Naruebet. Let's see if he can go upstairs with another one, though. That was probably the best punch he's landed so far in this fight.
To me, Naruebet's doing exactly what he needs to do. Holding a high guard, swaying left to right, not overexerting himself, and just waiting for timings in between. And like we've always said, timing will always beat speed and power. And that's exactly what Naruebet needs to do. Wait for the openings, wait for the timing, and just find those openings in between the guard of Oppas.
Again, Naruebet using the left hook and almost going downstairs with that right hand.
And Oppas with a nickname of Takeover, which is exactly how he fights. It seems like he likes to take over the rounds. Look, he's not throwing much power behind these shots, but he is being effective. And Naruebet catches him with a beautiful right hook as well. What an absolute fight we're witnessing.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like quality is going in the favor of Naruebet, but quantity is going in the favor of Oppas at the moment.
And both will win fights as well. Sometimes quality will win, and sometimes the quantity of fighters will absolutely win. Joe Calzaghe used to win fights just by overwhelming his punches. He did not even land clean shots. He would just win fights. He was undefeated without having to land powerful shots.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see Naruebet just keeping a high guard and trying to counter Oppas as he comes forward. It's not been a bad round for Naruebet. If anything, probably a lot better than the first round. I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting that left uppercut as well from Oppas, and that's the end of round two.
And as I mentioned, Ali, that's exactly what Naruebet needed to do. Just weather the storm, wait for it, and then get some shots in between. Ali, talk us through it.
Yeah, what a round that was for Naruebet, who really was just relying on his counters on the back foot, having a nice high guard, and just taking away, just blocking all of the punches that he possibly could from Oppas. But Oppas as well had a lot of success with his left uppercut as well.
I mean, to me, Oppas is doing a very good job of playing to the crowd, playing to the judges, and boxing is theatre at the end of the day. You need to impress the audience, you need to impress the judges, and you also need to impress the referees sometimes. And that is what Oppas is doing. He's standing in his corner, he's not taking a seat, and that is psychological warfare. But to me, Naruebet's doing exactly what he needs to do. Weather the storm and find little openings in between those flurries as well.
Here we go, coming up to round number 3 now. We are set for 6, but let's see if we get that far. It is Thailand taking on the Philippines.
So Oppas looks like he's calmed down just ever so slightly right now, but once he gets going, he's like a firework. He just keeps going, and he gets hotter and hotter with what he does, and he keeps pushing the pace. Naruebet may have earned the respect that he was waiting for, which is trying to slow him down, almost derail the train.
Swing and a miss there from Naruebet, but connecting there with that left hook. Oppas, again, high volume punches on the front foot. Right hand missing though for Naruebet, but this is where Oppas wants to keep Naruebet on the ropes and just throwing very high volume punches right here, not taking his foot off the gas, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, Naruebet is representing a very popular gym, the Singkamangsak gym, which are very renowned for sitting on the back of the ropes, sitting down, using your hips and waiting for the timing with those hooks as well. I mean, almost just getting rid of the jab and just using a right and a left hook as well, but it could do it for him. However, we've also got to accept that defending these shots is going to be very tiring for Naruebet as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Naruebet just not having the best round for me on my official scorecard in this just over this first minute. Hasn't been able to land his own counters very well, not very fluidly.
And ironically, Oppas has thrown less shots in this round than he has in the other one, so when Oppas is more busy, it seems like Naruebet has a better opportunity in that fight. He finds more openings as well.
But it's also this footwork that Oppas is using too. Just wheeling his way around Naruebet.
But Naruebet caught him with that nice left hook as he came in. This has been a very good round so far. I mean, look, it's definitely Oppas who is edging this fight right now. His activity, his footwork has been fantastic, but if you go by quality shots landed, you've got to give it to Naruebet in the situation like this. But if you want to go for output and someone who is somewhat outboxing, then you've got to give it to Oppas. So it's one of those interesting things. How are you scoring it? Quality over quantity.
High guard here from Oppas, who's connected really well there with that right hand. Thunderous right hand, trying to go again with the overhand right. And going back in, Naruebet just trying to defend himself. This really has not been a good round for Naruebet, and he's surviving at the moment, Jimmy. Let's see if he can.
Yeah, he's dipping his head down low. Oppas was really just teeing off now. Oppas is starting to come alive and actually put some power shots together as well. But Naruebet still standing. Naruebet is definitely dangerous when his back's against the ropes, and Oppas knows that as well. Oppas knows that his offense is also his defense, and a good body shot nearly crumbles him.
Yeah, Oppas really thumping the punches in right now. Naruebet's taking a lot of damage in this round. Can he survive? We've got less than 10 seconds to go. Referee Naruebet Konnuam calling a stop to that round, and we'll get the replays coming to you very shortly, and then we'll see you in round 4.
Beautiful end to that round. Both fighters just putting it on the line. It almost looked like Naruebet was hoping that bell was just going to start ringing, because I think he started to tire in that round. We see once again Oppas just constantly going to town with those combinations, but to me that was a different version of Oppas, and it's interesting because in the first, I would say, 2 rounds, Oppas just didn't stop throwing, and in that third round he almost looked like someone who didn't do much, but he did absolutely a lot in that round. In comparison to the first 2 rounds, he didn't do that much, but to me that was a better round for Oppas because he was finding openings instead of just trying to force them open as well. I think he's got Naruebet where he wants him. He's trying to wear Naruebet out, and I think if we get to the 5th round of this fight, we might see Oppas really stop Naruebet in this fight.
Yeah, I thought Naruebet was crumbling a lot near towards the end of that 3rd round. If it had gone on for another minute, I think we probably would have seen a stop to the action. But has Oppas blown a gasket, or was Naruebet just doing a bit of rope-a-dope right there, taking that round off? Who knows? We'll find out right now in round number 4.
Well, it's one of those things where if it wasn't working, do something differently, and a beautiful combination puts him to the canvas. The referee, I thought he was waving off. He just called it a slip. We're back into the action.
Rolling, not a knockdown. Yeah, especially with the way he had his hands raised like that. It's normally putting your palms down instead of up towards the body of the fighter. But Oppas going in for the kill right now, smelling blood and trying to take over properly in this fight.
Yeah, very interesting situation there. But look, Neither fighter has stopped. They're both going for it. They're both slipping underneath for one of each other's shots. Oppas, to me, just trying to find the body right now of Naruebet. Naruebet knows he has to try and do something spectacular here. We're in the 4th round, and I don't think Naruebet is winning this fight at all.
Oh, it's like rock and sock and robots, Jimmy. Definitely love this with the smaller weights, but Oppas controlling the pace of the fight on the front foot right here. Naruebet's really got to try and slip off these ropes. Robodope hasn't really worked out for him, especially in round 3, and he goes down. Is that a knockdown?
And that was, to me, definitely a knockdown. That was the similar one. Yep, called a knockdown. I mean, very similar to what we just saw before that as well. And it looks like he's going in for him now. It looks like he's tired Naruebet out. Can Naruebet survive? Does Naruebet want to survive? To me, that's the real question here. And he goes to the canvas once again, but it could have been considered a push there as well. But Cinnamon Cole has said he's seen enough of his fighter taking that damage. A beautiful stoppage by the corner there, and Cinnamon Cole very intelligently stops that fight for his fighter. I mean, look, beautiful work by the Filipino fighter here, Oppas. I mean, he just went to town, non-stop throwing. Here the action replays, Ali, talk us through him.
He was an absolute workhorse, Oppas. Didn't let his foot off the gas at all from start to finish, and he really did take over this fight, just like his alias, his nickname says it all. Such a high volume pace from such a small fighter with a big heart. And here we go, Mr. Peter Denman, the official decision.
At
See you
the
in the next
time
fight.
of 1 minute and 39 seconds, your way of 4th round TKO, fighting out of the red corner, Renden Oppas from the Philippines.